Well, hello everyone. How are you? How are you? How are you? Today is Monday, May 13th here in Moncks Corner, South Carolina. It's a sunny day outside. There was a little bit of rain and clouds, which is funny because you can see the rain or what, a few miles away, but where you're standing is just as beautiful and sunny as can be. So I had some errands I had to run today because I'm still in between jobs, unfortunately. So I spent the most of the morning out putting down applications. Well, putting applications in online. I had to go to the library because my iPad was not cooperating, and I went and froze in the library. Had I known I needed a shawl, I would have taken one. And if I have to go back tomorrow, I'll be the one sitting over there in the corner with a hat on and a scarf because it was freezing cold in there. I mean, I know it's supposed to be hot, but the AC don't have to be turned up that much, people. Come on now. But anyway. So, I'm trying to think. The last time we talked, I was finishing up the Zorzal shawl, or I might have already finished it. And I started on my Chicago Bear 1945 scarf. That's done. It's been given to the client. They loved it. Remember the little pitiful Kitchener stitch I did on the beginning? I got it right on the end. Well, yeah, I got it right. I sat there, and it was 45 stitches, and each stitch, it was, wait a minute, knit off, purl on, purl off, knit on. So I said that, I was saying that in my sleep, but I got it done. So it turned out great. I had to post pictures, so I did that. Then I cast on the shawl, this shawl by the same designer. It's called the Right Around the Corner shawl. And I hand dyed the yarn, and this was for a St. Louis Cardinal fan, which really pained me being a Braves fan doing this, but anyway. So you started here. You did your stripes. You left this bottom on a cord or some waste yarn. I had a cord, so I left it on the cord. Then you come and you pick up these stitches, which is my first time picking up more than 11 stitches that I did for that garter tab. Then you knit that block, and then you come down here, you have your live stitches, and then you pick up the rest of them, and then you knit the second block. So, and this pattern called for tassels as well. So I have put little tassels on it, and I have been assured that it will be well received by its recipient. So I finished that. I had an order for a couple of sock head hats, or a couple of hats, and my go-to pattern is a sock head pattern, especially when I'm using hand-dyed variegated yarn, which I hand-dyed this because any real pattern is going to get lost in the yarn. So I did this. It's a bit slouchy, and I'm quite pleased with the way it looked because I think one time I did it and I didn't follow the pattern, and but anyway. So I had that one done, and I have some more yarn dyed, some more of my camouflage yarn. I think it was a little heavy-handed with the darker colors, but considering they're gonna be sitting out in the woods in some tree bow hunting, I think it'll be all right. So I'm going to be casting on that in a little bit. So I dyed that one, got that done, and I have a friend of mine that goes to the Knitting Guild, and she came up to me in March, and she was like, "Natalie, I want you to dye me some yarn to match my fingernails." She had her fingernails done for St. Patrick's Day. So all I took a picture of her nails, and I'm like, okay, I can dye this yarn. And it was a deep green. This is what I came up with. So she has a sweater quantity of this yarn, and I cannot wait to see the sweater when she's done. I like doing tonals because you get such a variegation in the yarn. So this is going to be quite beautiful. And this is on a worsted weight base, so it's going to be a nice warm sweater too, which I could have used today. So that's worsted. This was knit with worsted weight yarn. This was knit with fingering. And this is worsted. Because these people, poor thing, they're moving to St. Louis or Chicago or somewhere up there where it's still cold. So they need something to keep the little noggin warm. And I think I told you all about my sock that I had knit, that I had gotten all the way to the toe, tried it on, and it was too big. So I frogged it, and I cast on another one. And what I want to do is, what I had attempted to do was combine the Rose City Rollers pattern with the Afterthought Everything pattern. So I started off like you would for the Rose City Rollers, went down, and I was like, okay, there's no way I'm going to be able to put in waste yarn and a lifeline on these 9-inch circulars, right? So one of my girlfriends on my Facebook page, she was like, Natalie, you can put it on 2 circulars. So here I go to YouTube, I found the video, said, okay. So I went to the yarn store, I got 2 1-inch fixed circulars with a 24-inch cord. So I tried that. I put 32 on one, because I cast on 72 stitches. So 36 stitches went on one, 36 went on the other one. That was even more aggravating than the magic loop, because I had the 2 cords, and you have to make sure you use the same one. But I mean, I put in the waste yarn, and then I was concerned with, when you have it folded and you're going from one to the other, I'm like, okay, I don't want that gap there or whatever. So needless to say, I didn't like it. I didn't like the fussiness of having the 2 cords or what have you. So once I got the waste yarn in and all that, then I put them back on my 9-inch circulars. But guess what? When I take the waste, well, I don't know, if I go up far enough that when I go to put in the Afterthought heel, this still might work. Now I'm going to have to put it on DMPs when I get to the other end to put in the waste yarn. But now that I think about it, it can still work, because once I get up far enough, this is going to lay flat enough for me to put the Afterthought heel in. Okay, maybe. We'll see. But I did end up taking the fixed circulars back today. I was like, I'm not going to use them. So they went back to the yarn store. And I got me some DMPs instead. So this, eventually, because I mean, my bingo card, I need to do a pair of socks. I need to do 1 sock. Oh, and speaking of which, one of the other things what's on my needles right now is a baby bonnet. That from some yarn I had in my stash, some acrylic yarn, because of course I don't do baby stuff on wool yarn, just because you never know what the poor little critter's going to be allergic to. I guess I shouldn't call somebody's child a critter. Okay, let's hope they don't see this. Oh my. But anyway, so while I was looking, I got all discombobulated. While I was looking for, because I didn't know what yarn, you have your stash or whatever, and I keep mine underneath my bed in little Rubbermaid things. So I went looking the other day, and I'm like, I had let me show you. I had a Afghan that I had started who knows how many years ago, just languishing away underneath the bed. So I'm like, what? It's a little girl. So I decided this right here will become a bonnet and some booties. So I cast that on yesterday, and it's just going to be a little simple bonnet. Took me 3 tries to do this because the pattern called for 1x1 ribbing. I'm not too thrilled with the way my 1x1 ribbing looks. I can't even say it, let alone thrilled with it. So I started it with seed stitch. I'm thinking seed stitch would be pretty. Well, my seed stitch wasn't pretty. I don't know what I did. I guess trying to watch baseball and do that, it didn't work. So I frogged it. Then I said, okay, let me at least give the 1x1 ribbon a chance. I did that. No, that was not pretty. So I frogged that, and then I just went with garter stitch. So I did garter stitch on the bottom and then garter stitch here. And once I get so many inches, fold it in half, seam up the back, and I'll have a little bonnet. And then I have to do some booties to match. But at least this is not just sitting underneath my bed still languishing away. So that's what's on my needles right now. But while I was searching, I found a baby dress that I had made. I was experimenting with putting beads on crochet, because at the time I didn't knit. This was over 3 years ago. So I found this pattern on YouTube and decided, well, let me dress it up with some beads. And it's the cutest little dress. I put beads in here just because I was, think I had enough or whatever. So I did that. And all I have to do now is just put a button on it and make a chain out of here. So for the, to attach it or to close it or whatever. And the Knitting Guild, we donate to this charity called Newborns in Need. So this is going to be given away to a little one. Somebody else's little critter. So I was like, oh, okay. So I give that away. And my bingo card says, we have to do a project with knitting, but because I did this 3-4 years ago, this does not count, unfortunately. So I'm going to still, no, what did I just say? We have to do another project with beads, but this doesn't count because I did it 3-4 years ago, but I can still donate it. So that, my little chickadees, is all I have. I finished the 1945 shawl. I'll put that pictures of that in there. I'll put some pictures of the right around the corner shawl, how it looks on my mannequin, so you can see that. Got the hat, dyed the yarn, and that's about all I'm doing. I have a friend of mine who I had made she loves purple, and I had crocheted her a purple shawl a couple of years ago, and I decided the other day that I needed to dye some yarn and knit her one just because. So that might be next once I finish this booties, unless somebody else comes. Somebody on my Instagram wants some skull caps for her to wear, I guess, at work. I don't know why she just don't. But anyway, so I might have a couple of more hats to do, but we'll see. I'm sure I'll find something to keep busy, but I just wanted to check in and say hello, let you all know I was still here, see what I was up to, and I will holler at y'all in a couple more weeks. Take care. Bye.